Carroll County say reality star Wendy Osefo concocted a story so far from reality that she's now facing a string of felony fraud charges. At her home in Finksburg today, there was no sign of the housewife, but her neighborhood was buzzing with the news as police accused Wendy Osefo of being a fraud.
Oh, honey, pull up a chair, turn off your phone, and pour yourself something strong, because the drama down in Maryland just reached a nuclear level of messy. You thought the initial indictment was a wild ride? Honey, that was just the preview. What just went down inside that courtroom has sent absolute shockwaves straight through the entire Bravoverse, and the internet is officially on fire. We are talking about a full-blown, jaw-dropping betrayal that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. For months, Dr. Wendy Osefo stood tall, holding her head high, waving her 4 degrees in everyone's faces, and screaming to high heaven that she and her husband, Happy Eddie, were a united front. She swore up and down that they were being targeted, framed, and persecuted as a powerful black couple.
It's an unfortunate situation, and right now I can't say too much, but I will say when the time is right, I will share my story with everyone. And for now, they're just allegations, so we will continue to push forward. Okay.
She wanted us to believe it was them against the world, holding hands while walking into that courthouse like they were starring in a legal drama. But baby, when the judge ordered those cases split into separate trials, the fairy tale completely shattered. The united front collapsed like a house of cards in a hurricane. And when Eddie finally took that witness stand and opened his mouth, he didn't just throw his wife under the bus, he drove the bus over her, put it in reverse, and backed up over her again. Eddie allegedly pointed the finger straight at Wendy, implying that she was the mastermind, the vision, and the driving force behind the entire insurance scam.
This season, the Wendy stuff happened after they were filming, but I'm just like, yeah, I've got questions. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what's your biggest question for the Wendy situation?
Well, I first would want to hear what she has to say, and then I'll have my follow-up questions. Okay. Because and it's, you know what's crazy is that, like, nothing even personal towards Wendy. This would be like towards.
The moment those words echoed through the courtroom, witnesses say Wendy completely lost her mind. We are talking a full-on, breathless breakdown right there in front of the judge, the press, and the jury pool. She went from cold, calculated composure to absolute hysteria in 3 seconds flat. So stick around, hit that like button, and subscribe, because today we are breaking down every single agonizing second of this absolute train wreck. Trust me, after today, the Osefo family dynamic will never, ever be the same. To really understand how we got to this point of pure tragic comedy, you have to rewind the clock and look at who Wendy Osefo built herself up to be. When Wendy first graced our television screens on The Real Housewives of Potomac, she didn't just walk into the room, she marched in demanding absolute reverence.
Forgot that in April, your home was broken into or something? Was this during filming that this happened?
I think it was right before.
Okay.
Like, literally before camera went up. It happened because my family was away on spring break. It was our spring break trip with the kiddos. And I was just so heartbroken. Like, I think a few of my first initial scenes, I'm just a little bit uneasy because we had just been violated, so to speak. It was the worst thing. It's so unexpected, especially since from my vantage point and from the investigators' vantage point, it was targeted,
Really?
Yeah, because I've lived in this neighborhood for, a long time, but since the neighborhood has been in inception for over 20 years, there has been no burglary.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
She was the woman who had it all. 4 degrees, a professor at Johns Hopkins, a political commentator on major news networks, a gorgeous home, 3 beautiful children, and a swoon-worthy husband named Eddie who smiled through every single scene. She made it her entire personality to let the other ladies know that she was intellect personified. She was refined, she was educated, and she was far too sophisticated to engage in cheap, lowbrow behavior. If anyone dared challenge her, Wendy's favorite defense was to wrap herself in her accomplishments like a shield of armor, acting like her pedigree made her completely untouchable.
Literally, she just messaged me a couple days ago, You know, she's one of the very only, like the only ones who is like, you know, I'm so proud, you know, well, what she said was, God has you covered, right? So this is, I need a second because
I get it.
I opened my phone. I had no idea it was even going on. And I'm like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm very, very shocked because I felt Miss 4 Degrees had it together. Okay? I thought she had it together. I mean, isn't Eddie an attorney, for heaven's sakes? Like, what the excuse my language.
And for a while, people bought into it. They looked at Wendy and Eddie as the ultimate Nigerian power couple, living the grand American dream, climbing the corporate and social ladders, and building an empire of luxury. They moved into a massive, gorgeous home in a quiet, pristine Maryland neighborhood where nothing bad ever happens. They filled their lives with designer clothes, high-end watches, Van Cleef jewelry, and lavish vacations to tropical paradises like Jamaica. But behind that glittering Instagram-perfect facade, the financial walls were silently crumbling. Maintaining the illusion of extreme wealth on reality TV isn't cheap, honey. It takes a mountain of cash to keep up with the Beverly Hills and Potomac lifestyle when you're competing with women who have deep, generationally wealthy pockets. The pressure to keep flexing, to keep wearing a new Chanel bag in every scene, and to never let the audience see you struggle was suffocating. Deep down, beneath the polished professor act, a dangerous game was being played just to keep the lights on and the champagne flowing.
You know, it's an unfortunate situation, and right now I can't say too much, but I will say when the time is right, I will share my story with everyone. And for now, they're just allegations, so we will continue to push forward. Okay. I know that's right.
The whole house of cards finally started caving in after that infamous trip to Jamaica. Wendy and Eddie came home, dialed up the local police in a total panic, and reported that their peaceful sanctuary had been invaded by cold-blooded burglars. They claimed with total desperation that high-end thieves had slipped into their home and made off with nearly $450,000 worth of luxury goods, jewelry, and designer merchandise. They immediately turned around and slapped massive claims on multiple insurance companies, expecting a fat payout to clear their debts and fund their lifestyle. But honey, the local police department and the insurance investigators were not stupid. They didn't just throw money at the situation, they brought out the fine-tooth comb. And what they found was almost laughably ridiculous. First of all, the house was utterly untouched except for one bedroom that looked like it had been staged for a high school play. The window the alleged burglars supposedly escaped through showed 0 marks, 0 damage, and not a single footprint on the pristine toilet seat underneath it. Then, the security systems, both ADT and Ring, showed absolutely 0 motion or activity inside the home while they were away. No ghosts, no thieves, nothing. But the ultimate nail in the coffin came when prosecutors dug up receipts showing that Wendy and Eddie had actually returned several of those stolen luxury items to retail stores for full cash refunds years before the burglary even happened. To make matters even more insane, police pulled up social media photos of Wendy literally wearing one of the primary diamond rings she claimed was stolen while posing happily at a red carpet event.
I said she's going to have her husband take the fall, and everybody was like, she should take the fall because he's the attorney, blah, 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 blah. I told him, I said, I understand what y'all saying, but he's the one that made the phone calls. He's the one that sent the email. They got a stronger case against her husband. More than likely, he's going to take the fall. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got small kids. One of them needs to be out of jail for their children. You know what I'm saying? And I just had a feeling and whatnot. And look, lo and behold, she is separating her trial from him, even though they both are being charged with the same, like, mostly the same.
The feds stepped in, dropped a massive hammer of indictment, and slapped them both with multiple felony counts of insurance fraud, conspiracy, and lying to law enforcement. But here's where the twist hits you like a cold bucket of water. As the reality of potential 15-year prison sentences set in, the fairy tale marriage began to rot from the inside out. When Wendy granted their request to be tried separately, the dynamic completely flipped. Gone was the us against the world energy. It became a desperate, terrifying game of survival of the fittest. Eddie realized that if he went down tied to Wendy, both parents could end up behind bars, leaving their 3 young children with nobody. So when Eddie's defense team took the mic, they made a calculated, cold-blooded pivot that sent a chill straight through the courtroom. During the pre-trial proceedings and testimony depositions, Eddie's strategy became glaringly clear: point the finger at the woman he vowed to protect. He began laying out the narrative that he was simply a compliant, trusting husband who blindly signed documents, filled out forms, and sent emails at the explicit instruction of his ambitious wife. He basically threw Wendy completely to the wolves, framing her as the driving force, who handled the family finances, controlled the secret email accounts, managed the claims, and orchestrated the whole narrative to protect her public image. Eddie's legal angle was loud and clear: I was just a loving husband keeping my wife happy, while she was out here running a whole scam operation behind my back. What nobody expected was Wendy's reaction inside that courtroom. Witnesses in the gallery said the moment Eddie's position was made clear, Wendy's face completely drained of color. The woman who made a career out of being composed, articulate, and fiercely in control completely lost it. She reportedly gasped, clutched her chest, and burst into uncontrollable sobbing right in front of the judge and lawyers. She started rocking back and forth, muttering, "How could you do this to me? How could you do this after everything I built for this family?" Her legal team frantically tried to quiet her down, but the emotion was too raw, too desperate, and too explosive. She reportedly had to be escorted out of the courtroom to collect herself because she was hyperventilating so hard she couldn't breathe. Seeing the man you stood by, the man you praised on national television for years, essentially label you a fraudster to save his own skin, broke something deep inside Wendy Osefo. The betrayal wasn't just legal, it was deeply, agonizingly personal. It was the ultimate public humiliation for a woman whose entire brand was built on pride, perfection, and power. The tension in that hallway was so thick you could cut it with a knife, as Wendy sat on a bench surrounded by her team, weeping openly, realizing that the man she loved had handed the prosecutors the exact rope they needed to hang her legal defense. The emotional destruction of this entire mess goes way deeper than just court transcripts and legal fees. Think about the sheer human tragedy unfolding behind the glamour. This is a family, completely fractured at the root. Wendy and Eddie have 3 beautiful, innocent children who are watching their parents' lives, marriage, and reputations crumble in real time on national television and across every social media platform on the planet. The psychological toll on those kids must be unimaginable. Imagine going from living in a luxurious home with a mother who is a celebrated professor and a father who is a respected attorney to seeing your parents facing mugshots, felony charges, and turning on each other in open court. The tension inside the Osefo household right now must be agonizingly cold. How do you sit across the dinner table from a spouse who just implied in legal filings that you are a criminal mastermind? How do you tuck your children into bed knowing that in a matter of months, one or both of you could be walking into a federal prison cell? Wendy's career is in absolute tatters. The academic institutions, the cable news networks, and the high-end endorsement deals she worked decades to secure have all pulled back, leaving her completely isolated. Her entire identity, the proud Nigerian scholar, the polished commentator, the ultimate perfectionist, has been totally stripped away, replaced by the humiliating tag of an alleged insurance scammer. She went from sitting on top of the world, flexing on her castmates, to facing the terrifying reality of losing her freedom, her marriage, her reputation, and her family unit all at once. the sheer panic that caused her courtroom breakdown wasn't just about facing trial. It was the tragic realization that the life she knew is officially over, and there is no magic degree or clever vocabulary word that can fix it this time. At the end of the day, the fall of Dr. Wendy Osefo is a chilling, cautionary tale about the dark, dangerous price of chasing clout and trying to live a life you can't afford. It shows us what happens when pride completely takes the driver's seat, driving you straight off a cliff while you desperately try to maintain an illusion for television cameras and social media followers. Wendy had everything standard society tells us to strive for: education, intelligence, a beautiful family, and a platform. But the unquenchable thirst for material status, designer labels, and online validation ultimately created a vortex that swallowed her entire life whole. Watching a marriage built on years of partnership instantly dissolve into every person for themselves the moment federal prison time is on the table is both heartbreaking and deeply disturbing. It makes you step back and evaluate what truly matters in life. Because when the cameras stop rolling, when the designer clothes are logged into police evidence lockers, and when the court lights turn on, all the fronting in the world won't save you from the truth. At the end of the day, this whole situation is a massive cautionary tale about what happens when the truth finally catches up to the story you've been telling the world. It's crazy to sit back and watch how fast a narrative can completely crumble the second real receipts hit the table. No matter how carefully someone tries to construct an illusion, curate an image, or play the victim when things get tough, reality has a funny way of kicking the door down and exposing every single detail. What makes this whole saga so unbelievable is just how deep the layers go. Every single time you think things couldn't possibly get any messier, or that we finally reached the bottom of the barrel, a brand new plot twist drops and completely resets the game. It really makes you step back and question how much of what we see online or on our television screens is genuine, and how much of it is just a desperate, carefully staged show meant to keep us looking the other way while everything behind the scenes falls apart. Now, I want to pass the mic over to you guys because I know you have plenty to say about this one. What is your honest take on how this all went down? Do you think there's any coming back from a fallout this massive, or do you think the damage is officially done for good? Do you feel like justice is being served, or is there still way more to this story that hasn't seen the light of day yet? Drop your opinions, theories, and wildest predictions in the comments down below. I'm going to be hanging out down there reading through your takes, and you already know this conversation is about to get spicy, so let's talk about it. If you enjoyed digging into this mess with me today and love staying up to date on all the latest drama, please do me a massive favor and hit that like button right now. Taking just 1 second to smash that like button makes an enormous difference for the channel and helps push this video out to even more people who need to see this tea. And if you're new around here or haven't done it yet, go ahead and click that big red subscribe button and turn on all your post notifications by ringing that bell icon. By subscribing, you make sure you're always the first to know the second a new video drops. Because trust me, this story is far from over, and we have so many more insane updates coming your way very soon. Thank you all so much for riding with me, for dropping your thoughts in the comments, and for supporting the channel every step of the way. I appreciate every single one of you. Stay safe out there, keep your eyes open, and I will catch you all in the very next video.